And we're live, and it's Skip Clark, Deb Lamphere, and tonight our special guest, and there he is. We'll find out all about him and where he is right now, Mr. Bryan Fox. Bryan, how are you?
Hey, great. Thanks for
Welcome.
having me.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us here tonight, man. Just to get to know you a little bit. Good hearing your music on the radio and find out a little bit about you. Where are you? Describe your surroundings right now.
I'm actually in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm in my base recording studio at the moment. So
Cool.
that's why you see all the cool surroundings right now. So that's where I do a lot of demo work and writing and everything down here, and head to
Mhm.
Nashville to do the final recordings when we get it all put together.
Oh, that's cool. You're what? Just a couple of hours from Nashville.
2.5 hours when the traffic doesn't get me, yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta love that. And Deb and I, if we want to drive to Nashville, it takes us about 13, 14. What is it, Deb? You just did it a couple of weeks ago or last week.
Yep, 13 hours. We broke it up over 2 days this time.
Yeah. I
But
wake up, I'll leave here about 6 in the morning and come back sometimes at midnight
Oh,
where
wow.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it makes for a long day, but
mhm.
it's just but it's worth it. So
Yeah. All those guitars behind you, do you play all those? Do you use all
that,
those for something different or?
well, the story is to the wife is that they all sound a little different, and
Mhm.
so they're all different tools. So this is actually only a fraction. I have about 45
Oh, my Lord.
around here.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
but they're all different. You need every single one of them to really make a great song.
You
So
know, you know, you,
that's the
you
story anyway, you know.
no, no, no. And, it is right. We paid a visit to Clint Black's house way back in the day, and we saw his recording studio, which was out in his garage, like just a huge garage. But
Yeah.
he had guitars like in closets all the way around. He must have had well over 100 guitars in there, and he said he has all those because they all have a different sound, and depending on what he's looking for, which I thought.
Yeah, well my wife has a similar shoe collection, so it's a give and take kind of thing. So
Ah,
I think the shoe collection
yeah.
must be a pretty common thing. Is that true, Deb?
oh, yeah. We enjoy our shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Deb, you might want her on the next podcast. You know, go shoe, like have her in her shoe closet and see.
Right. That would be
But
That could work.
And I have to say, that's like, he's downstairs in his recording studio and he's got his guitars. And I know that story very well because I have microphones and I have a voiceover studio and I'm sitting at our podcast table here. So it's like, I've got all the toys, on this side of things. So it's like, oh, because everyone sounds
yeah,
different. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I totally get you. Tell us a little bit more.
absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about you. Now, you are a doctor, a dentist.
I'm a dentist. Yes, I've been
Oh,
practicing for a while. My story is a little different. I was in dental school. I had a number one hit song on the radio. I was one of the first unsigned artists in Louisville to be on regular rotation, and my song hit number one. I would come home from dental school and have radio, not radio, but record labels on my
hmm hmm
answer machine saying, "Hey, we want to hear, send us a demo." And I was doing um, oh gosh, showcases for major labels
Yeah.
while I was in dental school. So I wasn't really thinking that I was going to make it out, but I did, and I love it. It's been amazing to me. I don't regret anything, and here I am, kind of doing both still. So
That's kind of, I don't like crazy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it because obviously going to school to become a dentist, it takes up a lot of years. I mean, being a doctor, and then
uh-huh.
also having a number one song on the radio, which obviously you put out there by yourself, you pushed it by yourself, and went all the way to the top. I mean, that's a lot of work. I don't know how you did it, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
it was I was very blessed with the situation. We had a At the time we had a local music hour where local musicians would submit their song to be played on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. And so I was new in Louisville. Um, I submitted a song that I had just done at a local station, and I had the program director call me actually a few days later after I submitted it, and he said, "Man, do you care if we put this on full rotation? Like, I absolutely love this song. And I was like, are you kidding me? Of course.
It's
So
funny
it
you
was,
even ask that.
it was unbelievable. So it was a time when I think, that there was a time when there was a lot more program directors that had control of what they were
Mhm.
playing. And
Yeah, yeah.
so,
I hear you there, my friend. I'm
Mhm.
very
yeah,
fortunate to be in the market that I am and being locally owned and operated. I've worked for the big corporations. I've been there for many, many years.
yeah,
And
yeah,
best thing that ever happened to me was to go to work for a local guy. And, we make our own decisions. I decide what I'm going to play and what I'm not going to play. I don't have somebody in the other side of the country saying, okay, this is going to be your top 40 playlist. This is what you're going
yeah.
to play.
I went from number one on the station to not being on the air because after about 3 months of being number one, the that station got taken over, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden the program director was they didn't
Mm.
have a need for the program director because they had some company from LA
There
that
you
kind
go.
of took over and
See?
just
Big
had
corporate people.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I had my time. I was thankful for it. So, but it was good.
And we got to talk about the quarantine a little bit. Have you been able to kind of regroup a little bit and do some writing? I think other artists that Deb and I have spoken to have had, they've kind of enjoyed it in a way that where they've been able to regroup and do more writing and work on their music and perfect certain things. Have you been able to do some of that?
Um, being a dentist,
Oh, that's great.
I was one of the few out of I work for with a company. I'm a part owner in a
Oh,
kind
wow.
of a massive dental company, and I was one of the few that weren't totally furloughed. So
Gotcha.
I was very thankful that I went to work and saw
Mhm.
emergency patients only. Knock on wood, have been healthy, through this whole thing. It's been crazy though. It's been really a trying time, and I have had more time to work on music, and been trying to make the most of it. Actually, my garage is sealed. My decks have been painted. I've done so many projects. I mean, my master bedroom is renovated now. It's like I've been doing. I'm a
Yep.
worker, so
Oh,
I
I
can't
hear you.
I can't sit around. So, but I've done a lot of writing. I just actually got back this weekend from doing a co-write with up and coming artist from Seattle.
Hmm.
Um, so I've been trying to make the most of it. So I'm not good with sitting around.
Mm-mm.
No, I mean, you are. I wasn't even thinking when I asked that question because being a dentist, uh,
Hmm.
for the most part, you'd be essential in having to work, and especially somebody in your position. And a big thank you for doing that because,
Oh,
all the
no
healthcare
problem.
workers, whether it's the dentist, all on the other medical side of things, and just anybody that had to go to work, those in the grocery stores, I mean,
Exactly.
being exposed to everything that's going on. I mean, you're all heroes, and we thank you for that and taking care of the people. So,
Oh well, it's
mhm,
I'm happy to be there. So I
yeah.
think I would go crazy if I didn't have that opportunity. So
I can't sit around either. I'm always trying to do
yeah,
something.
yes, for sure.
I don't.
How
Go ahead, Deb.
how is it working at the dentist facility, or you must have a building with several other dentists, and then them knowing that you are a musician and you're on the radio and you're out playing your songs? Do they kind of see you in a different light, or they just know you as Brian the dentist?
Um, I think it sets me apart a little bit. I think when people come to me, I always laugh. I tell my wife like I think people are more comfortable with me because I think that they don't have so much of a white coat syndrome. Like they see
Hmm.
me as more of a guy they'd go out and have a beer with, and not so much like this. Like I don't know, but it's we
Okay. Yeah.
I have such a great relationship with my patients. Like we're
Awesome.
we're all on the same level. I'm same thing with my team in my office. I think we're all friends. Like I don't feel like I'm this sitting on a pedestal, but I think the music helps, and
Mhm.
to kind of
I totally
put
agree.
me on
Mhm.
everybody else's level, I guess, if that makes sense, because everybody hates going to the dentist, everybody hates going to the doctor.
Mhm.
You feel so vulnerable and just I don't know, but I
I
think
know
that kind of
that
makes things a
relationship.
little Yeah, it does. It kind of humanizes you, you know,
It
in a
does.
way.
And I gotta say, when I go to the dentist or I go to my doctor, I mean, you hit it right on the head. It's somebody that we've got a great relationship. I can go in, we laugh, we joke, we talk about life. It's just somebody, he's on my level. And it is what it is. And it's just like talking to one of my friends, which it just
Mhm.
takes the anxiety away. And if you're nervous
For
about it,
sure.
it just makes you feel a whole lot better. So, hey, let's talk about your music. All right.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Nappy Roots. How did all that come about, dude? I mean, you're out there rocking it, and then you've got these two guys coming in and doing the rap side, and I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, thanks. Man, they are just so crazy talented. It's so fun.
Mhm.
So my wife and I, we're about 10 years ago, we had our second annual fundraiser for Smile Train called Fox Bash, and
Mhm.
my oldest daughter Dylan was born with cleft lip and palate, so
Mm.
that became a charity that was very close to our hearts. So
Absolutely.
we were giving money every month to Smile Train, which they provide free care for children internationally.
Mhm.
For so so we were giving that, and we just started thinking, because my wife and I are very social.
Mhm.
We're like, how do we make that money become more money, raise awareness, and have a great time? And so we uh, we had our first Fox Bash about 11 years ago, and um, it was very small. It was about 60 or 70 people. It actually ended up being in my garage with a local cover band.
Okay.
We raised about $2,500 maybe on the first one. The second year we kind of wanted to get bigger, and we were looking for a national act, and we ended up hiring Nappy Roots. So I had never, at that point I had never met them before.
Mhm.
Just was a fan. They came in, and we just totally hit it off, and had a personal relationship. Um, and me being a musician, and being a worker, I saw that as an opportunity, and so I pitched this chorus idea that I had to them, and I'll never forget it. It's really funny because I was waiting for them to kind of react to my idea, like, hey guys, what do you think? And they were like, yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Well, it comes out that when I sent it to them, they were driving back from Atlanta, and they were all three going, "Oh my gosh, like, I love this song. This is gonna be a hit. Like, we love it so much." They were totally, playing cool with me. So we went in the studio, and that became kind of regionally a really big song, and it was so fun. And
Mhm.
so that kind of solidified our working relationship.
Are those guys from where you are in Louisville?
They actually got signed out of Western Kentucky University, which is
Okay.
based in Bowling Green,
Mm.
which is about it's not it's closer to Nashville than it is Louisville, but
Mhm.
you pass it when I go from Louisville to Nashville. So they got signed out of Bowling Green. Half the band was from Louisville,
Okay.
and half was from Atlanta. So
Oh.
so right now, half of the group is still in Atlanta, and half are in Louisville now.
Mhm.
Mm.
Do they know you're
Yeah.
doing the podcast with us tonight?
I haven't
We'll have to
told them
send them.
yet. So
We'll have to send them the link when we get all said and done. That is
yes,
so cool.
yes, I
So
was going to get the link and make sure that everybody.
oh, you'll definitely have it. And it's
Yeah,
all, we're live right now. So everybody, as we see you, I mean, people chiming in and, watching what we're doing and listening to what we have to say. But that's kind of it's a very unique combination, you
Mhm.
and Nappy Roots, and putting out the music that you're putting out, and it's clicking. And I think with, the state of country music right now, we're hearing more and more of that type of music. We were
you know.
talking, we were
Oh, go
talking.
ahead.
No, I'm sorry. We were talking before we flip the mics on that maybe this is like the music, and we're going to go out to maybe Florida Georgia Line's bar or somewhere and go hang out.
Oh yeah.
This is what we're going to hear.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to hear. We're gonna dance to
I
it.
totally said that. I go, I can see us rocking out at a FGL bar with that.
Yeah. Well, right now, virtually every new country song that's out
Mhm.
has a programmed hip hop loop, and that is totally coming from hip hop.
Mhm.
That's already in basically every song. I mean, every Florida Georgia Line has
Right.
that.
Right.
Especially now, maybe I took it to the next level and actually have the hip hop actually on that. But it works. You know, it's super
It does.
fun. We have such a great relationship. Like it's it's one of the most fun things ever to be on stage with those guys because I love them. I respect them so much. They're such talented, brilliant musicians, and it's obviously so flattering to me to have
Mhm. Mhm.
those guys that are multi-platinum and Grammy nominated to want to work with me. And so it's
Well, you impressed
I
them. Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Yeah. That I mean, there's no doubt that you impressed them. There, it was like, dude, we got to work together. I can just imagine what it was like in the car driving back from Atlanta when they're listening to this, and that had to be
Yeah,
really, really
it's
cool.
fun.
It had to be cool.
But
Absolutely.
for That's About Me, we actually drove down to Nashville together
Hmm.
and did the whole studio session with my producer, and it was just one of the most fun studio experiences we've had. It was just a total blast. It was so
Yeah. What
it
studio did you use, Brian?
House of Blues Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So when I work with a producer all my career named Malcolm Springer.
Hmm.
He's worked on a ton of projects like Matchbox 20 and Collective Soul and Boss Gags, and just the list is just on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
so the way that I met Malcolm was that when I had the hit song on the radio back in the day, Elektra Records was interested in signing me, and they said, "Hey, you know what? I know you did this song locally. I want to hear what your music would sound like with a huge producer. We know the guy. This guy's name is Malcolm Springer," and that's kind of how the relationship kind of developed.
very cool. Very cool.
It's great when you can find someone that you can work well with and trust, and then you end up staying with them all these years.
Exactly. I definitely feel blessed that I have such a great circle of people around me that are loyal, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they know I'm loyal to them, and we're more than just coworkers. We're great friends, and we'll do anything for each other. So that really means a lot.
Wow.
Brian, tell us a little bit about the latest single. We just started playing it on the Wolf. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell all of us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I was down in Nashville recording a song with Malcolm at the House of Blues, and before I left to drive back to Louisville, Malcolm said, "Hey man, I've got this group of studio musicians that come in every week, and you got to check out this music we just wrote." So he played me the music for That's About Me, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Okay, who's writing the lyrics for this?" And he said, "Nobody yet." And I said, "Can I please do this?" And he was like, "Absolutely, absolutely." So I drove home, like 2.5 hours, went in my studio
Mhm.
and sent him the song with my verses and the hook on it, with the chorus on it. And so he heard it and was like, "Oh my gosh, I love it, I love it." We need a rapper on it. He goes, I need it, he goes, "I think I know a couple rappers down here." And I said, "Well, what about Nappy Roots?" And he said, "Are you serious? Do you know Nappy Roots?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." I was like, "We're
Awesome.
great friends." And so he was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So that's kind of
Very cool.
how this song, and after 20 years of working together, Malcolm and I actually, this is our first song that we co-wrote together.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's really neat.
Have you been able to, with the quarantine, and of course you've been working, but be able to touch base with Nappy Roots at all, maybe on weekends, or do you guys at least do a Zoom call or something like that, or have you gotten together at all? Or
Yes, we do. Luckily, Kentucky is pretty. I mean, it's definitely not like a lot of the other, the
right,
southern states at the moment. Our governor has been pretty strict with
mhm,
a lot of things. So we did a studio. We actually recorded this before the COVID crisis, and so we we've hung out. We had to do promo pics, and we kind of wore the masks and do the pics without breathing or anything like that, and try to be as careful as we can. But
mhm.
they're great friends. I've seen them multiple
Awesome.
times through this, but we try to be as careful as we can.
It's a
So
joint venture. You guys are still doing it together, but you're apart. So that's cool. That's cool.
mm,
What is it with the mask there? Do you have to wear the mask when you go out?
it's not mandatory.
Mhm.
I would say it's probably maybe a 30 to 40%
Uh,
mask rate when people are around. Um, you
yeah,
don't really get to feel like there when you're in some place. There's not really anybody kind of getting into your personal space at the same time. So
right, right.
um, I
Mm.
think people are a little bit aware, but you always have those that are like, "It's all fake. Masks don't do anything. I don't
Hear
care."
you hear it and see it every day. If you're on
Uh,
social media, you're seeing all different sides and all
Mm.
different opinions. And you know what? I mean, I commented once. I've stopped commenting because it was just not the thing to do. Uh,
Yeah.
just let
Well,
'em-
I see that, and it's almost like I mean, I'm a dentist, and I and
yeah,
I think, do you want me to work on you without a mask? Like,
right,
even if this wasn't the case,
right,
I mean, I don't have every, you know, communicable disease known to
right.
man. So obviously that PPE does something. I mean,
mhm.
I so even and we're now doing it even more than ever. I saw a tattoo artist actually posted something that I thought that was really cool. He said that he had a client 2 days before that came in. He worked up in, they were both right up in each other's faces
Hmm,
for
hmm.
hours. Where because he's a super famous tattoo artist. He takes out half a day,
Sure.
and he said 2 days later, the guy calls him and said, "I I have COVID."
Oh, geez.
And so I just got tested positive for COVID. So he self quarantined and he took multiple tests and never tested positive. And he says if anything is an indication of things working,
Mhm.
that should
Yeah.
be an example that
Yep.
it does something.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I
Wow.
thought that was really a powerful kind of testimony as far as,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know we're
but
here.
people want 100.
Go ahead.
People want 100%. People want 100%. I mean, if something works 95% of the time, then people are going to say, "It doesn't work at all." Blah,
Right.
blah. I know a guy in
It's all or nothing.
Texas that,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Now, you being, of course, we're here to talk about your music, but it is rather
Hmm.
interesting to be talking with you about being a dentist and the things you had to do so you could treat people, your patients. I mean,
Hmm.
that had to come as an additional expense for your company. That I mean, just all the different things you probably had to get
Yeah.
the face shields. I would assume, and
Hmm.
maybe
Yep.
upgrade the mask, and everybody's got to wear
Exactly.
gloves and all that. So that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, but you had to do it. So.
Yeah. It's definitely crazy times for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. What do you do for fun?
Music is fun.
Well, I know music. You're right. It is fun, and I do this for fun. I get you there, but like, do you go to ball games? Do you like to go for a walk? Do you bike ride? Do you hike? Do you fish?
um, I like all those things. I try to work out once a day,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
but music is really my outlet. It's
Mhm, mhm.
just because I don't. It's not paying the bills.
Mhm.
So
Right.
as far as technically, it's a hobby. Even though I'm doing it on a professional
Sure.
level,
Sure.
it's still my passion and my total fun. I mean,
Love hearing
my
it.
wife and I travel a lot. We've been to all 7 continents, and
Oh wow.
it's
Very nice.
so we've been very blessed to be able to do those things. And of course, the last 5 months we haven't gone to 7 counties, much less 7
So,
continents. So,
Yeah.
is your wife, is she into music at all, or is she doing something else?
well, she's definitely been my biggest supporter over the years. I mean, she's like, this is my dream too. You
Hmm.
need to do what you need to do. I'll take care of the kids. You go to Nashville, stay for a couple days if you need to. Just do me a favor, make the most of it. Take any opportunity down there. Go out, shake hands. Not before this, but
Yeah.
and so she's amazing.
Oh,
So
that's great.
very lucky.
What about family? How many kids do you have?
I have 2 girls, and they're actually the.
Wow.
Have you got to see the video of That's
I
About Me yet?
I did see the video. Yes. Yes. Those your girls?
My daughters did the art for that video.
Really?
They did,
Oh,
yeah.
very cool.
So
Very
we were trying to figure out, because we wanted to do a full video,
Mhm.
and with everything going on, it was like, how do we all get together? Because everybody's like, that's a party song. We need to be
Mhm.
downtown on
Sure.
Broadway in Nashville, partying in bars and doing all this stuff. Well, obviously that's not an option at the moment.
Mhm.
So what I did is I had a guy that said, hey man, I can make you a lyric video. So I started looking into that, and he said, just send me all the images for the video. And I said, I was thinking in my head like, I got to provide the images and everything. So how do I do that? So I wrote a list of 50 to 60 things. I sent it to my girls and said, hey, you know what? If you guys want to split up this list, I'll pay. And when the art started coming in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because, the
Right.
images that they drew of me and Nappy
Yes.
Roots are just
Yes.
so dead on. Um,
That is
and
really awesome.
Very talented.
yes.
They're
Oh,
very.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they totally crushed it. And I think it was so good that we all kind of decided like, I mean, this is so cool like it is, and we don't even need to do a real, where most people do a
No, I
lyric, like a lyric video and then a
Right.
concept video. It was so cool. It was kind of all in one. So they really saved the day on that.
Mhm.
Have you done any Facebook takeovers at all? Have you been playing? Have you done any shows just on Facebook or anything like that?
Yes, actually, my wife and I kind of did a variety hour for it. It just got to become so much work, but when the COVID crisis kind of lockdown happened,
Mhm.
every Thursday night we were doing and it actually ended up later on become the Fox Family Variety Hour, just because not only would I play for an hour, but like my wife would dress up in costume and we would dress up, and
Oh,
my kids would be part of it. They would come in and sing harmonies and do things like that. And we were raising money for the local musicians around town
Mhm. Mhm.
that couldn't have gigs. So we raised about close to $7,000, I think,
wow.
and we distribute that money at 100% to the out of work musicians in town. So we did 4 of those, and then kind of the stimulus money happened, and
Yeah.
and
It's so amazing that you did that. That just makes you just even a step higher. Doing something like that for the musicians that Deb and I have talked to a lot of these musicians that had nothing but their music, and now they've been sitting home, and they've got
yeah.
no income. They're doing the Venmo or the PayPal when they do a Facebook show. And we always, whenever we do the interview, we tell we get the website, and we ask our viewers and our listeners to go to the
Mhm.
website and buy some merch, so that at least
Yeah.
it puts a little bit of money in their pockets and stuff. But you doing that is just, dude, that is so awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I got the idea off of one of my really good friends. He's a Nashville session player.
Mhm.
He actually, no, I guess he didn't play on this song, but he played for Big and Rich and everything for a while. His name's Trey Hill.
Cool.
He before we posted before we did the show, he posted something that was like, look, if you have a regular job, he goes, this nobody, all the musicians that are doing 100, that get their income from 100% for playing out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know what? He goes, if you have a regular job and do music for a hobby, will you please not do these, you know, these Facebook shows
Right.
and let the musicians that rely on this money to pay their bills do that. So when I started thinking like, you know what, I want to do this, I kind of kept that in mind, and I was like, you know what, even though things aren't the same in dentistry at the moment, it's still a lot more than what most people are living on. So I wanted to make sure that when I did that, I took that approach, and that it went to the people that needed it the most in the musical community. So
that is so awesome, man. That is just exceptional.
well, thank you.
So, wow, that's
But
great.
it went well. It was cool. We I thought we raised, you know, we really did well.
I mean, to raise
And
$7,000, it's pretty darn cool. So,
yeah, it really is humbling when you send somebody $150, and that kind of allows them to eat. And I mean, it was just such a insane. I mean, it still is going on, but that whole first part of that, before any kind of stimulus and unemployment kicked in and everything else, was just, there was people that just literally weren't picking up their medication, couldn't pay their rent. I mean, couldn't go buy groceries. I mean, they just had nothing. So it 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 was good for me. It was nice for me because it sure made going to work and 4 hours a day instead of my, you know, it still made that fraction of work feel a lot. I appreciated that a lot more by doing that and hearing these stories. So
You know what's great about that is you're teaching your daughters how to give back to the community. Because, you know, as they grow up and they get older, they're going to want to be able to participate into whatever they're into to help give back in some manner. I just think that's really great.
It's one of the most, I mean, it's one of the most rewarding things in life is to give, to give to others. You know, it definitely is karma that comes back.
I agree.
In multiple. So
did you ever go through, jumping back to the music a little bit, did you ever go through the feeling that I'm done with this, I never want to do this anymore, I'm just going to stick to being a dentist? Do you ever just kind of get frustrated and just say to hell with it?
Yeah, like 45 minutes ago, I think.
You know, it's funny that you say that, but here again, as we talk to all these different artists, and you know, they have that moment. It's like, but then they bounce right back. It's like, I don't ever want to do this again, and then they jump right back in. So,
listen, we all have bad work days, you know.
It's a difficult industry to kind of to deal with. So, you know, it's one of those things where you spend hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars to do a song, and then you get played 5,000 times on Spotify, and you get a check for $1.50. You know, so it's just you know, it's just like, what am I doing? So,
what are you doing?
Yeah. Speaking of, you said Spotify, and probably your music's available, I would imagine, on all the social media outlets.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lyric videos on YouTube.
Okay.
I passed about a month ago. My videos passed over 1 million views collectively. So I have about 4 or 5 videos online now. The biggest one's called Gasoline. It's over 500,000 views on YouTube.
Dude, that's awesome. Wow.
So yeah, I'm definitely it's definitely happy. Yeah.
We got a ways to go. No, that's really cool. And of course, you've been doing this for quite a while now. And Bryan, let me ask you, what advice would you give to somebody that, let's say, somebody from this area that, you know, wants to do what you're doing, not being a dentist, but being a musician? What advice could you give that person?
Oh my gosh, to make sure that you have a backup plan, or really are okay with living paycheck to paycheck, and that, you know, because that's the reality of being a working musician these days. So
no, it is nothing in the bank. I hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you back out playing yet?
Excuse me?
Are you back out playing yet? Are you playing for audiences?
We have a gig in Nashville next month, so hopefully that will happen. Nashville's really been on a back and forth lately. They just shut down a few days ago for, they said, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My gig is in August, so we'll see if
Where are you
that
playing
happens.
in August?
It's called the Local. It's in the Vanderbilt area, and
Mm-hmm.
they really cater to original music. So the dirty little secret in Nashville is a lot of those Broadway musicians. That's kind of, I mean, it's bigger than New Orleans anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When you go down there, they have a list of songs that they can only play from, and they don't get paid. They only get paid from tips.
Yes.
They don't have the opportunity to play a lot of original music at all. So the Local is owned by a guy named Jeff Reed, who is just really just such a huge supporter of Nashville country scene, and he has an amazing place. So
Yeah, we actually went there back in February.
Is that
oh
where?
really?
I think we went to see an artist and we hung out and had a couple of beers and a burger. And
Yep.
it was called
Yeah,
Local. It was the Local. It was that place on the side street. I can't think of
yeah,
the street it's on, but we were there. We stopped.
Well, we Ubered, so we don't know where
yes.
it is. We just told
12th,
Uber.
yeah,
That
12th
was big
Avenue.
Uber. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. 12th Avenue.
I thought it rang a
Yeah.
bell. I thought we were there.
hmm
Very
Oh,
cool.
that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's a cool
And
little place. Has
It's
a cool vibe, and yeah,
we love learning. Well, I go there quite often, so my mission is to try 2 new restaurants every time we go and try to find a new local bar that features the newer or independent artists.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's definitely the place. That's
Mhm.
it's definitely the place to go to see, original music and
Mhm.
up and coming artists.
That's
so
great.
what does the future have in hold for you? Do you have any idea, or where do you want to go, or where can you see yourself going?
Um,
Yeah.
well, right now there's a lot of excitement behind the Nappy Roots collaboration.
Yes.
Especially, it's just like Malcolm, the producer, has a group of musicians. Like I said, they have a group of musicians that write, and they love this whole vibe of the Nappy Roots and Bryan Fox thing that they all really want to try to focus on doing an album together with just that. I'm actually working on another um, solo artist
hmm
album as well, so I'm working with that on Malcolm. I'm not sure when any of that stuff will be done,
Cool.
but anymore it's just with people's attention span. Everybody's just putting out kind of a song at a time, or 3 songs at a time, or it's not that whole 10-song album
Right.
anymore that
Mhm.
we're so used to.
I could see you guys, you and Nappy Roots, going on tour with some of the major artists and opening up for some of these artists to get you out in front of a lot of people. I could see you doing that. And with the country audience the way it is nowadays, I think that would be a perfect fit. It would definitely get the crowd pumped up. It-
Yeah,
and it would also give you that needed exposure. Of course, Nappy Roots is really awesome and you're awesome, but to have you on that big stage, tying in with a major artist would be a great idea, I think. So,
we're that. I mean, that's kind of in the discussion that we would love to try to get. And we have some booking agents in mind that we
mhm.
would like to maybe, when the festivals actually start happening,
Right.
even if you have to look at, I always say, if you even if you have to get a magnifying glass to see our name on the festival lineup, it'd be so fun to start opening up some of those, and
Mhm.
being on doing some country festivals and providing the audience with just a little bit of something a little
Yes.
different. But
Something a little
we
different.
yeah, but all of our music so far has been just so upbeat and fun, and that's
Mhm.
kind of what we really focused on. Like, if you go to the lake, I mean, you want to hear Bryan Fox and Happy Roots. I mean, that's totally weekend
Mhm.
summertime
Fun.
music. So
Fun. That's what it's about. And it doesn't matter how big your name is on that poster. It doesn't matter. It depends
exactly.
if you got 17,000 fans like our amphitheater here in the Q, Syracuse, it'll hold 17,500. So you got 17,500 people there watching you. That means more than just having your name on that poster, because you're going to pick up 17,500 fans, if you know what I mean. So,
Oh,
you
and
know,
that would be, they absolutely, they're
and they would go
pros. They
nuts.
would go out and kill it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Brian, you're awesome. And it's interesting to
Well,
hear
thank
this
you
whole
so much.
story. Um, And by the way, I love your room. I keep looking at the guitars and
And I
everything.
wish you
I
could
just
see the whole. I wish you could see the whole thing. It's
that's no, I
really
hear
spent a
you
lot
though.
of
You don't
time
have
on
to
it.
show us, but I'm in the as I mentioned earlier, and Deb knows she comes over and we can do them from here. But this is my room with the voiceover studio, and then of course I got the whole podcast set up, and I didn't
Yeah,
skimp on anything. I said, hey, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and that's what I've done. And a lot of my record friends, my label friends, my marketing friends, they've seen it, and that's how they said, "Hey, we got to get Bryan on. We got to do this," and they call it. I get calls every day for to get their different artists on with us, and it's
yeah,
really cool. So I'm
yeah.
sitting in the corner down here with my Montgomery Gentry hat. Leroy's name is on that, and it just breaks my heart.
Oh yes,
You know.
yeah.
And speaking of that, of course, the loss of Charlie Daniels.
Well, Daniel today, that really saddened me.
I know.
What's that, Deb?
That really saddened me today when I heard that.
Yeah,
Was it
Yeah.
today or yesterday?
yesterday.
It was
Yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had
It bothered
83.
me.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, yeah. Long haired redneck is one of the few covers that we always do, and
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously is just he's just such an icon, and
Mhm.
it just seems like we've just lost so many icons in the last couple of years. I mean,
Well,
it's
wait a minute.
just unbelievable.
We had Kenny Rogers, of course, Charlie
Yeah.
Daniels, John
Mm,
Prine. Um, oh my God,
yeah.
Little Richard, who actually had country roots way back
Yeah.
in the day. Um,
Prince. I
Prince.
mean,
Yeah, but
Tom Petty. He
wow,
has country. He's kind of
it's a hell of a
Americana.
party going on up there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are having their own party.
Rest
Hmm.
his soul. Charlie Daniels. I just did an interview with him probably about 8 months ago, and I posted that on our website, so that which was really cool. He called in one day
Yeah.
talking about a show that he was doing. Well, it was just
Yeah.
before all this went down. So, yeah. Hey, Bryan, we're not going to keep you much longer, but we do thank you for joining us here tonight. Deb Lamphere from the Country Music Fan Club, and of course, my name's Skip Clark. You know that now, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And it's just so cool what you're doing and the
Well,
collaboration
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
and how you guys met and what you do and how dedicated and passionate you are for that type of music, what you're doing. And I can't wait to hear more.
Well, thank you so much.
We can hear here in Syracuse, the Wolf listeners are hearing the single, which is pretty cool. And nothing negative, it's all
Absolutely.
positive. It's all positive. So that's
Okay.
good.
Well, great. That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Well,
But
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I had a blast talking to you guys. So
yeah, well, same here. We do appreciate you, respect you. I mean, the things that you have done in your personal life from your heart is just so exceptional, and I think there needs to be a lot more people like you. I think
oh, well,
most of
thank
the
you.
artists we talk to are pretty cool, but people in general need to have, you know, your opinion is your opinion, but you still in your heart is what matters, and you giving back to the musicians and doing those shows and showing that you care is just awesome, man. Just
Well,
awesome.
I'm definitely very blessed, and
And I
so
have a toothache, right? Yeah.
hey, just text me a screenshot. I'll diagnose it. No big deal.
I did.
Skip said that before we got on air. I'm gonna have to check my teeth, and he opens his mouth like,
Deb, you flossing every day?
Yeah.
See, Deb flosses every day. That's a good thing, right, Doc?
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Probably more than I do, but I do brush every day. All right, Bryan, all kidding aside, you're awesome. Bryan
Well,
Fox,
thank you
make
so
sure,
much.
if you're watching this or you watch it down the road, you go and check out Bryan Fox and Nappy Roots. You can go online. You've got your own website, what is it? There you go.
BryanFoxBand.com.
Okay. And you can find out all about Bryan and listen to some of his music. I know that you have some clips on there, I believe.
Yeah,
I think I
a
went through
lot.
there.
There's a lot of content on there, so
Yes. Yes. Do you do
keep
all
me
that by
busy.
yourself? Do you do the website yourself or
I
no?
do, yeah, with the help of like
your daughters.
with the company.
Your
So yeah,
daughter.
no joke. I need to get them on there. But
I love it. All right, Bryan, you're awesome, buddy,
well,
and
thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. And we'll keep in touch, and we hope to meet you someday soon, as soon as we can
I'd
get back
love
into
that. That'd be
Nashville.
amazing.
Yes, it would. Or well, when you're in Nashville, hopefully we'll be in Nashville, and we can hook up, and maybe have a cold one. So,
Hey, yeah, get my number and text me when you're there. It probably
absolutely.
will happen sometime.
All right, all right.
Cool.
Well, again, thank you for joining us, Deb. You got anything you'd like to add?
I'm good. Well, I may be in Nashville in August, and if I am, I'll look up the local to see if you're playing.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome.
I just don't know the date yet, but it was a tentative business event that I may have to attend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
She's bouncing back and forth all the time. So
Yeah.
all right. Stay healthy, my friend. Stay safe. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for the great
Thank
music.
you.
And we hope to talk
Appreciate it.
again soon. It's Bryan
Thank you, guys.
Fox.
Thanks,
Bryan
kid.
Fox. You're welcome, Bryan
Thanks,
Fox
Deb.
from Happy Roots. And check it out. We'll see you. Peace, brother.
Thank you.
Stay
Peace.
healthy.
Take care.
Bye.